Hello, friends, and welcome to a new episode. Today, I will continue the series of the fountain pens from my school years. I recently discovered them in a drawer, and today I have a special episode with some affordable fountain pens, and they are called Reynolds fountain pens. I have to start all my review talking about the man who is behind this brand's name. It's quite an irony that today we can find these fountain pens branded Reynolds. Why? Well, Reynolds was one of the persons who contributed to the demise of the classic fountain pen. And it has a remarkable story. Just 3 minutes of the video, I will talk about the fascinating history and fascinating life of this character. So, we are talking about the Chicago businessman Milton Reynolds. Milton Reynolds in 1945 was in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and he came across the first commercialized ballpoint, the Biro pen. When he returns home in the late 1945, in October, he was able to reverse engineer the Biro pen and was the first to manufacture and sell ballpoint pens into the United States market. It called it Reynolds Rocket, and this pen was introduced at Gimbel's department store in New York City, selling 100,000 worth of pens on the first day. The demand in 1945 was skyrocketing. They sold 3,000 pens per day, and it makes making it Americans' first number one ballpoint pen. But however, within 3 years, the price of the pen went from $12.5 to only 50 cents. The Reynolds Rocket pen had a tiny ball bearing that let ink out only when pressed against the item you were writing on. In advertisements, Reynolds claimed it had enough ink to 15 years without refilling. They had also an interesting marketing department. In 1947, in a publicity stunt to promote Reynolds pens, Milton Reynolds and William Odom announced they would beat Howard Hughes around the world record. They set a new record time of under 79 hours by flying the Reynolds bombshell around the world while managing to pass out thousands of pens in promotional events. In 1948, Reynolds expanded overseas and opened Reynolds' European branch in France. But when Milton Reynolds moves to Mexico, the Chicago-based Reynolds Pen Company closes, but the French subsidiary survives, as well as their Indian licensees. Later, the French subsidiary will be purchased. In May 2016, Reynolds licenses in India, GM Pens International, decided to end their exclusive contract and stopped making Reynolds branded pens, instead choosing to make their own Rorito brand pen. Now, Reynolds pens, along with Papermate and Parker, are brands owned by US based Newell brands and are sold in more than 70 countries. Reynolds has been a household name for years among those who use pens and particularly students, and it is a popular brand and the most trusted brand in India. The most favorite pens among Indians are the Reynolds 045 and the Reynolds 3 Max. So this was the short history lessons of these fountain pens. I believe that these fountain pens were made in the early 1990s, and as you can see, I have two of them. One it misses the cap, the gray one, and the other is this plastic fountain pen. Let's take a closer look. It's all made of out of plastic. It is black, but it has some elements, and these elements are also made from plastic. But the plastic is, as you can see, a nice green color. I hope you can see that the cap was a friction cap. In time, it developed these cracks. Okay, one crack and the other cracks. You can see them clearly. Because of this crack, it doesn't close securely as it did when it was new. You can see the name Reynolds. It's painted, not imprinted, at the end of the cap. The clip is long lost. It was broken, so not quite a resistant clip. You can see also plastic. And it was a single piece, green piece. It ends in this dome shape, and we also have a dome shape at the end of the barrel, also green color one. As I said, it is friction. The cap is friction fit. We have this ring here, which had the role of securing closing it. The grip section is quite plain, also plastic, green plastic, and we can see at the end of the grip section this steel nib. It is imprinted with the R from Reynolds. I'm excited about the end of the nib. It has this ball. It's like the German said Krugel nib. So I'm quite excited about writing with this nib. Remember, in this series where I discovered this in a drawer, I choose not to clean them, but just fill them with ink and see if they still write. So I'm very exciting to see how this steel nib writes. At the end, we have quite plain looking feed. It is a plastic feed and it has imprinted a 5 on it. Unscrewing the barrel, we can see that this fountain pen uses international cartridges, and also I believe that we can fit also an international ink converter on it. This was the first fountain pen. The second fountain pen is, let's say, a little, thick. It has a thick barrel in comparison with the other Reynolds models. This one, I will focus mainly on the barrel. The barrel, it isn't in a great shape. It has teeth marks on it, and it aged very badly in the sense that this gray is like a faded gray. I don't know how to exactly describe it, but it isn't a pretty sight. Also, we have some marks here. I don't know who made them. This is plastic. The barrel is plastic, it's a grayish plastic, and we have a grip section that is also plastic. But it's interesting that it ends in this ring, which gives it a nice grip. We continue with the steel nib. In comparison with the other model, it is nicely decorated. We have the classic R from Reynolds, but we also have these decorations. Let's look at the other one, which was plain. So you can see that this is a more decorated one. But the end of the nib, the tipping point, the iridium tipping point, you can see that on the smaller nib is much more pronounced. So we'll wait for the writing sample. I'm curious enough to see if they write and how, which one performs better. At the end, we have the same type of feed. Let's see on this one if I can focus. Yes, on this one we have imprinted at 3. It is a plastic one, and you can see that it's slightly damaged on the fins here. Maybe someone tried to remove the nib. I don't know, because we also have here some rather bad marks. We unscrew the barrel, and we can see the same plasticky part like the other one. I don't like the plastic part, but it is what it is. And this, remember, it's a budget friendly fountain pen from India. It also receives ink cartridges and international ink converters. Stay tuned for the writing sample, but still the writing sample, I will put them side by side with other fountain pens. You should bear in mind that these are only for seeing their dimensions, because I will compare these fountain pens with, let's say, an entry-level fountain pen from Pelican from the 1990s, also a plasticky one, but also I will compare them with higher end fountain pens like this Parker Sonnet Monochrome, this Mont Blanc 221P from the 1970s, the famous Lamy 2000, and also I have a beautiful, beautiful luxury fountain pen from Pelican, the M800 Sovereign. Okay, I will show them side by side just to give you an idea of their dimensions, but I will also leave on the screen the dimensions of the black Reynolds and of the gray Reynolds, but without the cap. Stay tuned for the writing sample. Welcome back to the writing sample. For The writing sample, I will use the Patronen or ink cartridges from Pelican 4001. Brilliant red. They are small ones, international size. And I will start with this one because I told you that the nib intrigues me, and I'm just too curious. Um, of course, as you've seen in my videos, when we use the cartridge, we have to wait for the ink to come down to the grip and to the feed and to the nib itself. So maybe we will wait for a few minutes, but we can cheat on this. We can press gently and see if let's okay, let's press. Yes, you can see here the ink. When I press, let's focus and see if we can look. Yes, it's saturated, you can see, and it doesn't write. So let me try to dip it in an inkwell to get the flow starting. Let's see if this will be a solution to our problem. I hope it will be, because I wanted to show you it is the same color. Yes, now it writes. It's interesting. Let's see if we have the flow. So it appears that we have a working fountain pen. Let's close the barrel, and here I can write. This is the first Reynolds. You can see that we still have to make some. Okay, we continue. This is the Reynolds made in India fountain pen. Made in India. Okay. I'm sorry, I still have difficulties with it. Maybe it was a good idea to clean it before I use it. Oh, oops. Now I have too much ink. Let's continue and see. So we have that ink, but not quite a good ink flow. And if you will notice, this color of the ink is a little bit dark. So surely it had before some, you can see also on the nib, it is a dark red, and we use a brilliant red. So it is possible that in this section it remains some old blue ink or black ink, and it causes this discoloration, let's say. Not discoloration, but darkening of the ink. So I will pause the video, I will flush and I will clean this section, and also on this one I will clean it, and after that I will fit both of them with the same ink and will do the writing sample. Excuse me for this. I will usually prepare my videos, but this time it didn't work. So stay with me, please. So after a few minutes of cleaning it, I still haven't. I'm not quite pleased about the results. You can see that the ink flow is not consistent, and you will also notice that the ink from the cartridge was compromised. It is much more darker because it came into contact with the ink which was left on it before. Okay, so I was quite frustrated that I couldn't get the flow right, and now I decided to use um, an ink converter, international ink converter. But I've noticed that it doesn't quite fit. So I will use another ink converter. Maybe it is the ink converters. So I have here another ink converter, and we will try with this one. Let's see if it fits. Yes, it fits. So maybe this wasn't the right one. Okay, we still have the ink bottle here. We simply insert it in the ink and we draw the ink. You can see that we have some ink drawn from the bottle. Close the ink bottle, and let us hope that it will write and the flow will be consistent. Okay, let's focus, and let's focus. Okay, and we have Reynolds. This is one of the reasons I prefer ink converters. Look at the beautiful flow. When you ink your fountain pen from this part, all the ink passes through the main channels to reach the barrel. So you can say that it is prepared, pre-prepared for the initial writing step. So you don't have to wait like you do on the ink cartridges. Okay, let's move on. This Reynolds is made in India. It is an affordable student fountain pen. It has a steel nib, so steel nib, and I believe this is an M1. I was intrigued by how it writes, but it writes normal. I don't think it has line variations. No. It is what it is. It is a reliable student fountain pen. It it's a nice writer. No feedback, no scratching, and I think it's quite a good fountain pen. Now we will bring the other one, which I've just cleaned, and I will use the same ink converter. And I want to show you something. You can easily remove it carefully, and this is it. Okay, I will insert it in the other fountain pen. Let's see if it fits. No, it doesn't fit. It appears. Excuse me for a second. I want to see something. So I will insert it in this pen. It appears that it doesn't work on this one. So I will try again on international cartridge just to see if it fits. So in this it fits. I don't know what to say. Um, I don't want to waste your time, so I will simply squeeze it. And if it doesn't work for the first time, surprise, surprise, look at this little one. This, this writes. So, a good thing. Let us see how it writes. This is the second Reynolds fountain pen, also made in India. This big nib has another feel to it. Also, this is a student fountain pen. Student fountain pen. It has also a steel nib. This nib, I believe it's an F. F for fine. Let's see if we have some line variations. No, no line variations, but it doesn't scratch, no feedback. So again, a suited student budget fountain pen. Thank you for watching the review of the Reynolds fountain pens from my school years. If you liked this review, please subscribe, share, leave comments, and let me know about your Indian fountain pens. Thank you and have a nice day.